What's up everyone, Andrew here from Offshore Audio, helping you with loads of tips and tricks to become a better live sound engineer or to get started in your live sound engineering journey. Today I'm going to talk about something which is not at all a part of the technical aspect, but equally important to a successful career as a live sound engineer, and that is soft skills. Not all of us are lucky enough to have had an illustrious career in customer service. I myself have worked in Domino's Pizza for quite a long time before I had a career as a live sound engineer. Working in customer service definitely gives you a lot of these skills for free. You develop them through working there. It's a job where you work quite often long, unsociable hours for very little pay. But like I said, you develop these secondary skills like communication, teamwork, situational awareness. Now, being a sound engineer, you may not think about it, right? You may think it's purely a technical role, but it is very much a customer-facing role. Your customer is often the band, the producer, or the company who has hired you, the venue. And quite often those people are talking directly to you and sort of outlining their vision of what they want to you. And quite a lot of the time, we don't start with the same goal, the producer and the sound engineer, or the band and the sound engineer. And we need to be able to communicate with those people and reach a sort of mutual goal that we are working towards at that point. So in this video, I'm going to look at what are soft skills, give you a bit of a definition so you know what we're talking about. I'm going to give you my top 5 soft skills that I think are super important when working as a live sound engineer, and we'll round it off by letting you know what you can do to work on them if that's something that you think that you need to work on. Let's dive in. What are soft skills? According to Wikipedia, soft skills are a cluster of productive personality traits that characterize one's relationships in a social environment. That's coined by the US military in the 1960s. They used soft skills to differentiate between hard skills. Hard skills were those qualities that were required to operate the equipment. So that was driving a tank, shooting a gun, loading artillery. They came to this realization in the 1960s that the soft skills were the qualities that were equally important to winning a battle. Motivation, being able to lead the team and get them to perform well in combat situations. Now, a lot of these things might seem like common sense, but believe me when I tell you that I've seen people completely disregard them when they're at work. If the host comes up and says, I need to make an announcement really fast, give me a microphone. Yeah, sure, let me find your microphone, looking for the one labeled with the name of the host. It's not really important at that point. They just want anything to say a few words. It's a translation error, and we need to be able to minimize translation errors. And they're not skills that we learn in the same way that we learn hard skills. In the way that we learn how to use a mixer and we think about the processes that we're working on, these soft skills are more automatic functions that happen, and we are just trying to be aware of them, perhaps more aware than usual of how we respond to certain situations. So it's very much your people skills, your social skills, and your career attributes, something that you can take with you throughout life, not just in a live sound career. If you have worked in customer service, these places like burger joints, pizza joints, clothes stores are like really good places to develop these skills, because you're constantly in contact with people, with customers who you need to be professional with, and you're constantly running into these emergency situations like stock problems that you need to solve. And these companies, especially bigger ones, major retailers and stuff, have really great processes in line. The way they want you to act towards their customers, quite often the way that you should act towards people in any professional job. It's a good experience. So why are they important? I saved you a bit of time and went and Googled this for you. And Google told me that soft skills in the workplace allow organizations to effectively and efficiently use their technical skills and knowledge without being hampered by interpersonal issues, infighting, and poor public and market perceptions. What do we mean by that? Allowing organizations to efficiently use their technical skills. Let's break that down into real understandable language using our soft skills. What they mean is that if you can't communicate, you're not going to get a chance to use your hard skills. If you don't know how to make people feel at ease, you don't know how to achieve the producer's vision using your technical skills, you're not going to get the gig to use your hard skills, like getting that sick mix. If you can't use your skills to achieve the vision of the producer or the artist involved, then you're going to end up with them on your back the whole time. It's going to make your life miserable when you're at work. And what's more, you'll get a reputation for being difficult to work with. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's move on to the 5 soft skills that I think are super important when working as a live sound engineer. And the first one of those is time management. You're being paid usually by the hour. And if you're not delivering value, if you can't achieve your goals or realize the goals of the client within the time that's been allotted, you're costing them extra money. You can create the best mix anyone's ever heard of a band, but if you struggle to get the band in, sound checked, and then the doors open on time, then you're going to have problems in your career. Now, number 2 is teamwork. This job can sometimes be a little lonely. A lot of the time we're working alone, we can be working with artists and it's just us and the band are on stage. A lot of times when you start working for a rental company, a production company, you know, the bigger employers in the field of live sound, the first things that they're going to do is they're going to put you on up rig and down rigging jobs, taking the sound systems up and down. They want to see how you work with others. They want to see how you work as part of that team. Do you know what you're doing, and are you able to work together to achieve the collective goal that they have set out? And they need to see if you can achieve this bigger picture, because quite a lot of the time on corporate gigs, you are going to be working with other people. There might be a monitor engineer on the stage or someone doing lines on the stage, and you're just on front of house and you need to communicate with them effectively. You might have an AV team and you need to receive sound files from them and get them coming out the PA. Similarly, you might need to send things to a video team for broadcast. And it's really important that you can communicate effectively with these people so that you can make the show happen. Number 3, my list here, is leadership. Now, if you've worked with live sound for a little bit of time, you've probably realized that bands and artists and talent are a bit like children. They know the rules, but they just get so excited that they sort of don't follow them. They have a lot on their minds. You know, the talent or the band have a lot to think about in between sound checks and show times. And sometimes you don't have all of the pieces of the puzzle to make a show happen perfectly. Like if you don't have a stage manager, who is collecting the band to make sure that they go on stage on time? The show must go on, and if there's no one else to do it, you need to take charge and decide, okay, I'm going to make sure that the band are on the stage on time. And you don't need to be pushy about this. You know, this is the skill, is being able to just maybe go and check with the band 5 minutes before showtime and say, hey guys, just wanted to check in and say that I'm ready to go, showtime in 5 minutes, is that cool? And they're going to appreciate that because they're probably meditating or getting ready for the show mentally. Similarly, if you have, for example, a guitarist who's playing too loud, their guitar amplifier is too loud, that might not be because they love having their guitar super high and blasting everyone. It could be that they're not aware of how loud it is in the venue, and that they're looking to you as the sound engineer to give them guidance, to take the lead. Perhaps say to them, hey, you know, it's a great tone or whatever, but it's a bit loud right now. Can we do something about that? Because it's distorting other elements of the mix. So you need to know when is the right time to take charge. Number 4 is adaptability. This job is chaos incarnate. The whole fun of the job is that nothing is the same. Everything changes all of the time. You might, for example, go to a venue, go to a space, and you're bringing in the PA system, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, I'm going to set it up on the far wall. It's going to be amazing. It'll play down the venue. Everything will sound great. You go in and you find out there is no power available where you've planned to put the PA. So now you have to reset, view the whole situation with a fresh mind, and form a new plan. One time I was doing a show and the band had playback from a laptop with an interface. Everything was great at sound check. They went away, took the laptop with them, came back, showtime, they played the track and they played back at the wrong speed. I ended up running on stage. In that moment, I didn't think, oh man, the show has started, what do I do? It was just reset, show needs to happen, there's a problem on the stage. Number 5, perhaps the most important one here, is emotional intelligence. It takes all sorts to make a show happen, and everyone has different responses to the stresses and pressures of making a show happen. As well as that, everyone comes into it from a different situation. If you have a touring band, they might have been on the road, they might have been on a plane, they might have not spoken to their loved ones in a long while, they might be more volatile, and you need to realize how to moderate your behavior to find the smoothest outcome for the show. If, for example, the producer says to you, can we move the mix position? Maybe you've got the mix position in the middle of the room and they want it to be at the side of the room. Internally, you don't want that. You want to be able to hear the whole mix, but try and think of the big picture. Are you going to end up with the CEO later on coming to get mic'd up to do the keynote speech at the event, and they come to you and they're like, oh, look, it's that guy that wouldn't move the mixer. And it's just going to make their day, your day worse. So you need to pick your battles and you need to moderate your behavior for certain events. Maybe sometimes Sometimes the correct answer is just to say, sure, no problem, I'll do that. Other times, maybe it's show critical and someone's asking you to change it and you have to say gently, sorry, that's not something I can do, and then maybe come back with a different solution for their problem. Think about what you say before you say it. Rounding out those 5 points that I've made, maybe you're feeling a little bit attacked. Maybe you're like, hey, are all these aimed at me, or are some of these aimed at me? And you're thinking, what can I do about this? And the good news about this is that you can do something about it. You can practice these soft skills just like you practice any other skill. And one of the first things you can do is that you can be open to feedback from other people. Watching this video is a really good start because you're opening yourself up to feedback on what, for example, I think are 5 really important soft skills. And then you can look at yourself and say, do I have them? And you can think objectively about how you handle things. For example, I used to think that I had really good time management-ish. But then when it came to shows, I found that I was always running right up against the clock. When it came to time to open the doors, I always needed a couple more minutes. I still had the band on the stage when it was time for the doors to open. And so I identified that problem and then started to actively forecast how I would use my time. I would make a plan or just on a note on my phone before I did the show. I needed to get 10 microphone stands out. I was going to take 5 minutes to get those microphone stands. And then I would sort of forecast my time, and that would allow me to know if I was still on track. So it's just about looking at yourself and looking at how you handle the situations and then trying to think how you could fix them. You can ask for feedback. If you work with other people regularly, why not just ask them? Take a self-evaluation and say, hey, I think this is going well, but I'm worried that maybe I'm not, whatever, getting stuff done promptly enough. What do you think to a colleague, a coworker, And if you don't like to hear that you've got self-reflecting to do, then you need to work on that because self-reflection is a really good soft skill. I'll round it off with a few tips that I've got that you can think about. Do I do this when I go to mixed shows? Number 1 is introduce yourself and get names. It helps a lot when people walk in if they learn immediately who the sound engineer is. Oh, that's Andrew, he's the sound engineer. This makes them feel so much more at ease because they know the person who's going to be looking after them, at least from the sound perspective. Another thing to do is take notes, especially of those people's names. Using people's names is a great way to put them at ease, and that's our job, making people feel at ease. Communicate, keep people in the loop. You're going to run up against problems. And if you hide your problems and try and solve them secretly, people are going to get annoyed at you because they will notice. Why not just say to the producer or the stage manager or anyone, hey, I've run up against a problem here. It might take me a few minutes to sort out. I'll come back to you in 5-10 minutes and let you know where we are. They'll appreciate that. Similarly, if you have a band on stage and you run up against a problem, why not say to them, hey guys, I've got a problem here. I need a few minutes to solve it. Why don't you just take 5, chill out for a minute, and I'll let you know when we're ready to continue. Because no one wants to be standing on the stage like a chump. And finally, keep any complaints and private jokes to yourself. Nothing can ruin the vibe quicker than someone on the team making a joke which is slightly inappropriate to a certain demographic. I hope you found this video helpful. As you can see, it's a pretty broad subject, right? Soft skills include everything from communication, project management, conflict resolution. Hopefully you've got a better idea of that part of the job of being a sound engineer. Leave a comment down below and let me know if you've identified something through watching this that you think you're lacking in. Have you watched this video and said, oh, maybe my time management isn't great? Let me know down below. And similarly, if you think there's something else that's really important to being a sound engineer, leave a comment down below and let me know as well. I'd love to hear from you. Because this job isn't all technical skills, a lot of it is soft skills. But if you need to improve your technical skills, you should check out the first module of my course, Unlock Live Sound. I'll leave a link in the description to that down below. And that'll help you to get on the path to more gigs, better gigs, and basically unlocking your career as a live sound engineer. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please, if you found this video valuable, like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out, tells YouTube that I'm not a bad guy. But that's all for now, so I'll see you next time. Goodbye.